All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm JustMoparJoe. We are out in the beautiful outdoors. I got to do some cleaning on this engine block. So I got it out here behind the shop. I don't typically deal with engine stuff outside unless it is the big dirty work. So today, since I had this, it's just been fresh honed. It's fully old honing oil. Also, I don't think it was cleaned well enough before it was ever built the first time. So what I'm going to do is strip all this old paint off, clean down in every lifter bore, every oil galley. I got my plugs out the rear. I don't know if you can see through there or not. This plug, the inner plug right inside there. Got this plug, that plug. And as I find more plugs, they'll come out. But currently, you see these two ugly plugs in the front. I was looking for just a rod or something to get those out and redo them. So this is actually a wooden dowel, and you'd think to yourself, there's no way, see her slide into there, there's no way that can deal anything with this plug. Slide her on in. That one fell out on the ground, so it wasn't doing anything. I'm not sure how it was driven in there, but it was not too good, so I can toss it. I haven't tried the other one yet. We can do it together while I'm standing here. But I think you're going to be fairly impressed with my results at the end of this video. Yeah, that one's a little more solid there. I don't know if I'll be able to use my dowel, but I'll try. That's it. Ed had recommended just a long piece of all thread or something, but I found the wooden dowel, figured I'd try it. So you can see that old dirty black oil in there, and all the funk, hopefully all the funk through there, that's got to be cleaned out. I got my big pressure washer I got to get dug out, hose ran over and all that. I'm also going to drive out the cam bearings before that happens. You may can see how beautifully copper that is. Those dudes are slap dab worn out, so I got more of those coming as well with the cam. This will have a flat tappet cam, a new old stock deal that from Rodney Bird. It's going to wake the truck up drastically, and this engine should be really nice when it's all said and done. All right, for those who are unfamiliar, this is a cam bearing driver, and I'm basically just driving them all out backwards. I got a 7/8 wrench on here. When you tighten that, it flares the inside of that dude there. I don't like to flare it too much because then the driver itself kind of drags through the bore. You can see my old arrow from when I used this before. A good tip from Ed was save your old cam bearings so you can have them measure, have them look at. If you have an issue later, you can see maybe why that was in comparison to your new ones, because just like main bearings, rod bearings, whatever, all bearings, cam bearings aren't made the same. So I'm just gonna get you set up. You can watch me knock out. I'll get that one knocked out. I'll probably have to switch to a larger size bit. This old kit here, it's number 2. But you see my red line, when I go to put them back in, I normally line that up with my oiling holes, so I'll kind of keep them all oriented correctly. Flare her down a little bit. We're cooking. And there we go. There is our bearing. You can see that old funky parting line there. Kumbaya, it looks good. Yeah, not much to it. I'm gonna get the rest of them knocked out. Another quick and easy step before I wash this thing. Like I said, all my bearings are out. I'm gonna take my die grinder and open that up just a little bit. It's more because it's just an old ragged edge. The block will look a lot nicer. And if I'm putting a cam in or doing something, you know, just cleaning that up does not hurt a thing. It only takes just a second and it'll look a lot nicer. I may can even chamfer these holes here in case it had some oil that wanted to run down and hit my timing set. So won't take but just a second. I'll probably leave the camera on for most. Nothing to it. I can even give it a little bit of lean and just kind of bevel the edges. Not a big deal. I'll knock the back out and we'll be back. So I know everybody's got their favorite. Got my cleanup done in there. It's so much better. I could run a hand down in there and not get cut. Oil will flow a little easier. I chamfered those some. Chamfered the front some. Lovely. I even knocked the rough uglies off the top of those. I went for LA's Totally Awesome. I liked it. It is totally awesome. Buy your little gallon and put in the pump up sprayer. Pump it up. And we'll soak this dude. 100% straight. Does not take any diluting. You can dilute it if you want to, I guess, but nah. I'm gonna shoot it in water jackets, head bolt holes, spraying it down all our little channels, shoot it through lifter, galleys, all of it. I want it everywhere. It is good stuff. Environmentally friendly. You can do this at home. Anybody can do this at home. I even opened up my, I didn't actually open them up, but I just went around real quick on those big two water jacket holes there. Just a little something something. Shoot it all the way through. Hit my holes down to the crank. I like the pressure washer. Let that stuff soak and you see the old black nasty running off. And see here, it's just getting cleaner by the second. That'll work good for our first wash. Get some of the heavy grease and stuff off, and we're gonna do a step 2. Got our first washing. I'm just gonna take a nice dry terry, run in that cylinder, running that cylinder. We gotta move quick now because this has already been honed and they'll start rusting up. So then I take my WD-40 and I coat them. Let that set a minute, come to the side. She looks so much nicer and cleaner. I could probably blow it out and build it like this, but I'm not satisfied yet. I'm not really worried about my deck surfaces yet. I'm working on the outside of the block. So You can see I got some funk as I wiped those cylinders out, or as I sprayed them. I'll give it a quick wipe with this. This engine looks like it was originally orange. The pistons were standard bore. We had some kind of sneaking suspicion maybe it was some kind of commando crate engine. I don't know. I can't say true or false on that yet. But it did come with the black wrinkle valve covers. And at one point, the guy who sold it to me said that there was an M1 intake sitting beside it. Maybe that was just coincidence. You saw in my last video the cam that I pulled out of it. Let me just wipe those off real quick. I got that one flipped. It didn't take much. The first touch with that hammer and chisel, it split that sucker right there. So that's a good sign that I needed to do that. There's what the backside looked like. There we go. We're a little crunchy in here, but that's to be expected, and we'll get that cleaned out here just shortly. All right, I've got our block painted up. It's actually been painted all weekend. I came and cleaned our decks off. Just used the file and sandpaper method as shown by Ed's machine. It took paint really well. I got 99% of that old orange and red and black off. I got to do my freeze plugs, but I got them here today. I thought I'd go ahead and clean those two big holes out right there. The oil galley. See if I can get you. There it is. 1 and 2. I've already brushed down this one once, but I was going to show you kind of my crazy method of doing this. Drew got me some Goodson brushes. Basically, so here is that brush. If you lay it on top of the block, see, it makes it all the way out the back, and it's a nice size. I would guess that's probably a 1/2 inch. And you can brush it, shove it all the way through, pull it all the way out. That's boring and simple and nice. That's okay. Here's the way I do. Okay, there's our brush. Here's a little piece of, I think it was old tablecloth. It's kind of a soft cloth. And all we're gonna do is wrap it. I like to start at the top, let our bristles stick through, and then wrap it one way or the other. I think I'll wrap this way, if I can. There we go. I'll get it in a second. Now, wrap her clockwise just like that. So if I happen to twist that brush, it will always twist clockwise. Then I'll take my brake cleaner, I'll soak it, and start her in the front. Now, I'll keep pushing till I get all the way out the back side. Pushing a little twist. I'm getting close. All right, I made it. Now, this is a impact driver with a 1/4 inch Allen wrench in it. Allen key, whatever you want to call it. Stick that in the end of your deal there. Start spinning. Slowly back it out. You can go forward if you want to, but it's easier to just back it out. Slow speed, not too much. Now, I want you to look at that. It's getting a lot of the fine particles, metal and stuff. The piece of cloth actually helps hold some of the solvent. But you see how we're getting lots of good funk out of there. There it is again. So we'll keep doing that until it comes out basically clean. And when we look down our passage, she sure looks nice. After that's all over with, I'll probably be able to drop my rag from the backside here, just like that. Shoot a little brake cleaner, wipe out the holes, come back through, soak everything with WD-40 so it won't rust up for the next couple weeks till I'm ready to build this engine. But she's gonna be a clean one when it's all said and done. Other passages, we can find it. This side, see straight through here, got a passage, and then another passage running through there. Obviously the passage is running from the cam bearings to the crank and to the oil filter side, and then our passage is running through here. I got a little smaller size brush for those two, so just wanted to show you that real quick, and in a minute I'll get these freeze plugs knocked in. And here she is. Got the freeze plugs in, everything wiped down, cleaned out. I did not drive my little plugs in here yet, and the reason is I'm going to wrap this thing up in a big trash bag after I put a light coat of WD-40 on all the bare spots. And it may be, like I said, I don't have my cam bearings in yet either. Maybe a couple weeks before I get to assemble it. So in that period of time, if it's in that trash bag and a spider decides to somehow crawl in there and die, and I've already put these plugs in, and I put my rear plugs in, and everything's plugged off, I won't be able to see that. So before this gets built, I'm going to check every oil galley hole, see all the way down through there, once again before I plug it up. So I'll plug it up basically the day of putting the crank in. I couldn't get the rear freeze plugs in or the cam plug in, obviously cam plug because the cam bearings are out, and I didn't want to set it down right now to do that. So I'll finish all that up at the end before it gets built. But something on the freeze plugs, I like to put it where you can actually read, you know, if there's a number on it that's up or down, put them all level where you can read them. I don't, maybe that's just me being particular, but it is what it is. My deck's turned out pretty nice. I appreciate y'all watching. This is kind of a fun build for me. Going back to a small block deal. I've been on the big blocks lately and I love them. But this is a nice block. It really, really is nice. It's a good foundation to build now. Said we're gonna do it justice for our old Ramcharger revival. Got her cleaned up and ready for an engine here. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time.